What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate you. Complicate you.
Hey, everybody!
First of all, we'd like to wish everyone a happy and prosperous new year.
Yep, and add on, have a safe new year, So, this is the time of year when everyone is talking about their favorite games of 2023.
We can't do that
Not yet.
because we're doing a 2023 game marathon.
Right. Over her Christmas break, we've been getting some games played that we've been needing to get to the table. And so this past week we got 3 games, new games to the table, and one that we've already played, but we played again. So we're just trying, because I got my list solid. My list is solid.
I haven't played as many games as he has, and I haven't played some of the games that came out this year that I want to play.
Yeah, so she wanted to see where they land on her list.
Yes.
And all right, for right now, my list is solid. But I do think that we can talk about our favorite board games that were new to us in 2023.
So today, we're going to talk about our favorite games that did not come out in 2023, but that we played for the first time this year.
Yes, and I got 5, you got 5. I do have an honorable mention.
I have an honorable mention too.
It's not a tie.
There are no ties.
No. I'm just making sure. So that's 6. She got 6, I got 6. Honorable mention. All right. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it. So, as always, ladies first.
All right. So my honorable mention actually would have made my top 5. It's an honorable mention only because it's not an easy game to find. And that game is Comic Hunters.
Okay. Oh, you really did like that game.
Okay, so when you enter a relationship with someone, you both bring your own interests. And I dabbled in comic books as a youngin', but I appreciate them a lot more hanging out with this one for 30 years. And so what I love about Comic Hunters is, first of all, I love set collection. It's one of my favorite mechanics. So I love that part of it. But I also love all the vintage comic book covers that are depicted in this game.
Yeah, and it was a great experience because who taught us this
Yes,
game.
I mean, honestly, playing Comic Hunters was one of the most delightful game experiences I had in 2023.
Wow, that's cool. Because we went to Grand Con for the first time this year, and we met Evan and Missy.
Yes.
They have a YouTube channel, Evan Diesel, and they had Comic Hunters. And I wanted to play it. I figured they were going to bring it, and they brought it, and we really enjoyed that game.
We did. It was a blast. It was a blast.
I hope they bring it over here to the States because of copyright, they use actual covers of comic books. So, it's just not available here. But man, I want to play that game again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, my honorable mention is a game I only played it once. And it's one thing that I remember the most about it. I thought about it for like a few days after I played it. and it's a game called Amsterdam.
Okay.
And it's part of the Queen Games City Collection from Stefan Feld.
Okay.
They have like Hamburg and there's Marrakesh, which I played both of those. And Marrakesh I really did enjoy, but Amsterdam stood out for me.
Okay.
And it's like in Amsterdam, we are merchants of course, in Amsterdam who are delivering goods using ferries, and we're buying cars and stuff like that. But the thing that I remember the most about it is how you gain the resources. Because what you do, we roll some dice, and depending on the color of the dice and the pip of the dice, you get that particular resource. But the thing is, let's say it's a 6-pip die. That means you get 6 of those cubes that represents that resource, but you put it on this thing called a win rose.
Oh my goodness.
And so you don't get to use it for 6 turns. So in other words, if you get like a 1, you put it in the first space, so you can use that resource your next turn. But the more resources you get, the higher the pip, the later you get to use it. So you really got to plan how you're going to use these resources.
Wow.
Yeah, and I really, really enjoyed that. You know,
Okay.
you know how I am about dice. You know, and you'll see that in, you know, when we actually do our favorite games of 2023. You know, but I really enjoyed that game.
Okay.
So I definitely want to play that again.
Okay.
All right, so now let's get to the actual list.
All right.
Okay, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is a 2-player game, and it's Beer and Bread. Now, I like Beer and Bread in part because it is a 2-player game.
Yeah.
And for obvious reasons, I'm a little bit partial to 2-player games.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
But I like the theme, and I like some of the twists. The twist I like the most is you can't just build up all of a bunch of bread and ignore beer, or you can't draft a lot of beer and ignore bread. You actually only get to count the one that you scored the lowest, so you have to be pretty balanced.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're balanced with that. And you know, I do. This was on my short list. I thought about it because what I love about Beer and Bread was the multi-use cards.
I like the multi-use cards, but you know what else? I like the details. I really like the detail they put into the different grains.
Yeah.
I just thought that little touch, the colors and the texture and the shape, I just thought that added a nice touch to the whole gaming experience.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
Yes.
Okay. My number 5 is the Quest for El Dorado.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Quest for El Dorado. We, they did a re-implementation of the game with Vincent Dutrait art, of course. So I wanted to try it out because I love Vincent Dutrait art and I love games that give you that Indiana Jones feel. So I bought this one, we played it, and it is so much fun. So it's a deck builder where we're racing to get to the City of Gold. And we're moving across this terrain, but in order to move across this terrain, we had to play these cards, like machete cards, or, I forgot what the other ones are, but the machete ones, the boat, the oar.
Yes.
So because sometimes we got to get across water. But you can't split up the cards.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you got 2 machetes, they say the terrain type has 3 machetes. You cannot play 2 and 2. A card with 2 machetes and 2 machetes or something like that. And it's just
You have to have an exact count.
Yes.
And it really gets critical towards the end when you get it closer.
Yeah, because then the jungle gets denser.
Yeah.
So you gotta have enough cards to get you there and be the first one to get to the City of Gold.
Yes.
And this is a great, entry level deck builder.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I like about it. It has enough strategy, but it's entry level.
Oh, you got this down. Uh-oh. Okay. That's my number 5.
All right.
All right. On to number 4.
So my number 4 is Kohaku.
Oh.
So in Kohaku, you're building up your koi pond.
Yeah.
And I really like this game. It's relaxing, it's chill, it's pretty.
It is beautiful.
And it's just an enjoyable gaming experience. It plays well at 2, it plays well at 4, and I just really, really love the different ways you can score points. I just found this game very enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm still because I bought this a while, before we got a chance to play it. I had bought it because I knew Alicia would like it, but it was always like ooh shiny, ooh shiny, ooh shiny. So we got introduced. We finally got to play it with our friends Ryan and Emily. And they showed us played it over at their house, and I was like, what have I been waiting
Yes,
for?
he slept on this one. He did.
Yeah, it is really beautiful on the table. It's really relaxing. Just placing your tiles, building out your koi pond, and you're trying to like match up different colors of the fish or whatever. That game is really, really good.
That game is really nice.
Yeah, and if I had, usually I split my list because I'm gonna split my list in the top favorite games of 2023, where games that I played with her and games that I played with my board game group. And so this would have been, I split my list in this one, Kohaku would have been on the list that I played with you.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, my number 4 is a game that I was introduced to at PAX,
Okay.
and that is Nana.
Okay.
Or Trio over
Okay.
here. But now Nana is a game where it's like Gamers Go Fish, where you get a hand of cards, and what you're trying to do is create 3 sets of a number. So you need like 3 sets of a set of 3s or a set of 4s, stuff like that. And if you're the first one to get 3 sets, then you win. But there's also another way to win, like Nana means 7. And so if you can find like the 3 7s, you automatically win.
Okay.
But if you get like the 3 1s and then get 3 6s, 6 plus 1 equals 7. Or, stuff like that. If you get the 3 1s and 3 8s, 8 minus 1 is 7.
Okay.
So you can win that way.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a really easy game to teach. I've been trying to, there's some other card games that we learned this year, but Nana is probably my favorite.
Okay.
And that's my number 4.
Okay.
And I did get a copy, like Trio. They had Trio there, and I bought it. But I wanted the actual art for Nana, so I ended up picking up Nana. So I had to track it down.
Okay.
So that's my number 4.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Number 3.
So my number 3 is an Uwe Rosenberg game.
Rosenberg.
Sorry. And that's Ottawa.
Oh.
Now, obviously, theme drives me. So what I like about Ottawa is not just that it is a theme-rich game, but that the theme is so educational and that it champions an ecological cause. So I really like that aspect of it. But I also like the gameplay. I like that, it has some, I don't know of a better word, so crunchy mechanics, and it's not super crunchy, but it has enough crunch to make it interesting. So yeah, I like Ottawa.
Now I know it's a different way to say the name.
Yes.
I'm not sure what it is.
I'm not saying it right either.
So we're Ottawa.
We apologize for that.
But I remember when I first told you about this game and that it had bats.
It wasn't that hard. you told me that it was. You told me it wasn't the bats themselves that was the issue.
What?
It's the bat.
The poop.
Yes.
Oh. It was the fact that in the game, the bats, they fly off and they poop.
Their waste spreads seeds over massive,
which grows more trees.
over massive amounts of territory because they fly. They have a very long range, higher than many other flying animals, and so they are very valuable to the ecology of their region.
I thought you wanted to try this game because when I was playing the solo mode, I kept making the bat sounds.
No, that wasn't the selling point. You know how I
I gotta do my sound effect.
Reading that book made me interested.
Okay, well, wow, that was cool.
Yes.
All right, my number 3 is a game that I just played.
Okay.
And I thought this game was hilarious. It is thematic. It's just so much theme in this game. And that is Obsession.
Okay.
Obsession is pretty much, they call it Downton Abbey,
The board game.
Now, I've never seen Downton Abbey, but I'm just going by what the masses say. But so in Obsession, we play as a family who is trying to reinstate our status in the community by throwing soirees or having get-togethers and stuff like that. And we're inviting guests to come over. We're building up our house, our home, and where people can come over and have like get-togethers, meetups, watch the football game or whatever. And there's certain guests that will give you like prestige or reputation.
Yes.
And as you build up your reputation, there are some people that will come over and give you more stuff.
Okay.
And then there's a courtship phase where it's this man and this woman, who, if you have a certain amount of particular rooms in your house, then the courtship starts.
Okay.
And if you end up keeping them at the end of the game, you get a certain number of points.
Okay.
And the game is just hilarious because there's some guests that will bring you money, but your reputation will actually go down. So people are like, why is she here? or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is funny.
Okay.
And the coolest thing is there's a card in there. The designer put a card with his cat on it. Like, that's the one thing I forgot to mention. When you're throwing the soirees and you put the guests in these soirees, they require like help, like the butler or the maid or the valet or whatever. He has a card with his cat on it who requires everybody. And it is hilarious. I was like, this game is really, really fun.
Okay.
So you definitely got to try this one. But I've heard it was the theme. I was like, I want to play this game. I got this game for a review from the designer at PAX. He is such a nice guy.
Okay.
So, but I played it and like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
This game is so good.
All right.
All right. So, where are we? Oh, that's the number. So we're going to number 2.
Number 2. So my number 2 is actually a crossover.
Okay.
The Quest for El Dorado. I really enjoyed this game. Like you.
Yeah.
I love games that have an Indiana Jones kind of theme.
Yep.
I really thought those meeples were kind of cute.
Yeah, they are.
I appreciate the art, and I like the race aspect of the game. Getting there before your opponent. I like that part of it. And I just like the whole theme.
Of that, yeah, Quest for El Dorado is great. Now, I mean, I knew when she said crossover, I know you hadn't played Nana yet. And I know you hadn't played Obsession yet. So it had to be Quest for El Dorado.
Yes. I really enjoyed playing Quest for El Dorado.
Now, okay, my last two games are games that they both are 2022 releases.
Okay.
If I had played these games in 2022, they could have easily been at the top of my list. Like one of them would have been number one.
Okay.
You know. But speaking of race, my number two game is Heat. Pedal to the metal. I mean, I love this game. It's another game with Vincent Dutrait art. But I love this game. And pretty much it's a race but it's like this hand management. You're getting cars and you play a certain number of cars depending on your shift, where you are in your shift thing. And you're trying to make sure you don't spin through the corners going too fast so you can spin out. And I mean, the cool part about it is at the player count. Like if we playing 2-player, I can easily add, it goes up to 6. I can easily add the other 4 cars into it to make it look like a really nice race that we just not racing each other.
Yes.
You know, it is so, and you're trying to make sure you don't get too many heat cards in your deck because they just clog up your deck. So sometimes you got to do a cooldown or whatever. And I love the fact that they got that a little catch-up mechanism like the slipstream. You pull up behind somebody, you can slipstream in front of them. Like Heat, Pedal to the Metal is so much fun. And I played this with Ryan and Emily, and we were playing it, and I was like, something's missing. And I found a video of the Indianapolis 500 and just cut it on while we were playing, and it was just so, it just took us there. You know, I love Heat Pedal to the Metal.
Heat Pedal to the Metal, it was probably number 6 for me.
Okay. Yeah, so I I thought I had put this on another list somewhere, and I was doing research looking at the older video, and I was like, I didn't mention Heat. And if I, and I was like, okay, I cannot not put Heat on this game, So, all right, let's go. Ready? Number 1.
So my number 1 came out in 2022, and ever since I heard about it, I wanted to play it. So we got it to the table early in 2023, and it did not disappoint. My number 1 new to me game
I think I know this one.
is the Votes for Women. That, like I've said in a previous video, that game gets it right on so many points, and I couldn't help but just love it. It's just a well done game.
Yep, if you have not watched her top 10 games of all time, Votes for Women was her number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, you really did like that game.
Yes. As a teacher, one of the things that I do is I actually have developed curriculum, and I developed a unit about, I developed a unit that talked about women's suffrage. And so women's suffrage is a very interesting topic for me. So when Votes for Women came out and just captured the drama and the human factors, all the human players, and all the varied, viewpoints, it just did such a wonderful, comprehensive job, and I just really appreciate that.
Now, I have to say, Votes for Women was sent to us for review, and we did do a video for it. Now, I remember when I got the email and I showed my wife, and she was like, so what are you waiting on? And I was like, well, I don't want to be the bad guy. She was like, no, get that, go for it. Tell them yes, you want to play that game. So we got it for review. Thank you. And she really loves Votes for Women. It's just a great game. Now, my number 1, like I said, both mine, 1 and 2 came from 2022. if I had played this game in 2022, this would have been my favorite game of that year, you know. And that is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. I adore that game. I love the puzzle. I love the complexity. I love that you're building out your ocean and you're building out your land, and then you're putting like the sky. We're looking up at the sky, and that gives you different scoring points. And as you do these things in the game, it's dice placement. You're putting the dice in order to activate these abilities. And I love the fact that you have to go up this journal track. So in other words, it's kind of like, you know, in Lost Ruins of Arnat, you know, you're exploring the jungle, but you got to make sure you're going up that temple track. In Wayfarers, you got to make sure you're going up that journal. In order to get through that journal, you have to accomplish certain things depending on the path you take. The game is beautiful. It is so beautiful, and I just love it. And when you get finished building out your world that you explored, you get to sit back and look at it like, man, I did some stuff, you know. Now, Wayfarers of the South Tigris is such a great game, you know. And I just recently played Scholars of the South Tigris. I'll let you know where that lands. You know, if it falls on my favorite games of 2023. And I'm already looking forward to it. I think it's called Inventors of the South Tigris. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out, you know. But, okay. Did you have fun?
Yes, I did.
This was fun. I mean, it's so many great games. And some of them, like, we're always about the code of the new, but sometimes it's the tried and the true. And this year, even though I got to play a lot of 2023 games, there's a lot of games that I finally got the chance to try out that were like, wow, I see why everybody likes this game.
Yes.
You know. So this was really fun.
It was.
So in the comments, let us know if there's a game that you tried out for the first time in 2023 that made you like, oh my gosh, this game is great.
That wasn't necessarily a 2023 game.
Yeah, you know, and that's our list. If you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.